G'day guys, Skits here, and welcome to episode 6 of our FIFA 12 Manager Mode commentary. We're doing pretty well in terms of this series. I'm really enjoying it so far, and I hope you guys are too. Anyway, we've got a pretty busy episode this episode. Busy month this episode. Newcastle, Wolves, Tottenham, and United for the League Cup. So it's going to be, for the quarterfinal in the League Cup. So it's going to be a pretty big month. So hopefully, we'll be able to do pretty well in the majority of our games. As you can see, we're in 9th position, and there's actually a fair few people that are kind of contending for that, top 5 spot. And I'm only a few points off Liverpool and Chelsea and all them. So hopefully I'll be able to catch up and be in that top 5 spot, because that would be really a great achievement for me. I really want to be in that top 5 position. Anyway, Essien has finally come back. I think he's got an injury trait or something like that, because he has been injured so much, and it's great that we have him back. But I'm unsure that he'll be able. I'm unsure if he was a good purchase right now, because he just gets injured so often, and that's just such a bad thing for him. But anyway, for the game, which is against Newcastle United, I decided to just praise Jelavic, because he has scored 11 goals in the EPL, and we have only played maybe 10 matches or something, or maybe a bit more. But I mean, he's just doing amazing, and he's just been a really good purchase. I remember he came from Rangers, I believe. He's been a great purchase to the club. But anyway, so yeah, our first game is against Newcastle. We've had a pretty amazing run of form, actually. They beat Tottenham. Wigan and Stoke aren't the best teams, but they did beat Tottenham, which is pretty good achievement by their books, at least. As you can see, I didn't decide to start Essien just because he's still I just wanted to rest him a bit. I don't know what I'm going to do with him, to be honest, because he just constantly gets injured. And what I actually noticed is that Newcastle have bought Malouda and Michael Carrick, and they are two very good players. They must have gotten a new manager or something like that, because they just have a lot of new players that are really good. And as you can see, they did start the game pretty well. In the first 10 minutes or so, they were just completely destroying me. But just typically, Jelavic gets on it's pretty not even that good a pass. He just deals with it beautifully there and just turns the whole defense and just makes a complete mockery out of their defense and scores a great goal in there. They get pretty unlucky here, and Newcastle did have some great headers throughout this game, which is I don't know, they gave me a lot of issues with their headering throughout this game. You'll see a bit later on in particular, but I don't know, they did surprise me throughout this game a lot. I mean, there they scored with Sissé, or Sissy, I don't know how to pronounce his name really. I'm not horrible with pronunciation, but they did score a pretty good goal, and props to them. That was quite a good goal. It was kind of against the run of play, but they did surprise me. They were playing alright. At the halftime break, it was 1-1. Anyway, we do start the half pretty well. In the 57th minute, we get a very little sweaty goal there. Don't worry, guys, I won't be doing too much of that, but I figured I really do need 3 points at this part of the season, where it's really important that I can get, a nice start through the season. And as you can see, now we're just dominating them. That's a really great little pass from Jelavic. If Jelavic isn't scoring, he's setting up goals, and that is a brilliant setup and a great finish there. And the game did end at 3-1, which is a very pleasing result, to be honest, because Newcastle were pretty solid in the heading part of their game, but that was really about it. Their defense was pretty poor. Anyway, our next game is against a pretty average Wolverhampton squad. We should be pretty confident going into this game. I decided just to praise Everton a little bit. I didn't really need to, because I know that we'd basically guaranteed get 3 points. I mean, they did beat Swansea, which is okay, but they got pwned against City, so I'm pretty confident coming into this game. I did decide to play Essien just for some, I guess, I just wanted to see how he'd go. If he'd have any issues this game, then I might actually consider putting him on the transfer list, just because, I don't know, I didn't think when I bought him that he'd be this bad with his injuries, but I mean, he's gotten 2 injuries already, and he's only been in the club for a month or so. But anyway, regardless, that should be a red card. How is that not a red card? They didn't even call that a foul, which is pretty ridiculous. Unfortunately, the half was extremely boring. This whole game wasn't too good to be honest. Just not really many highlights to show you guys. Pienaar there has been on top form lately there, and I've probably been starting him a bit too much, because he's going to get injured, I think, later on in this episode. But still, he does really well, and there they get a penalty out of nowhere. And I guess I'm just lucky that they really fail at taking penalties. I mean, it was a pretty nice, confident little shot there, and he got pretty unlucky that it hit the crossbar, but still, I took complete advantage of them missing, and in the 69th minute, I did score a very nice little goal there. I thought, just a nice little setup, just good all-round team play. And at this point, I figured, let's just go all out. Let's just get more points from this game, or more goals from this game, just because, they're Wolverhampton. They're basically our least biggest threats in the whole EPL, basically, apart from maybe QPR and a few other teams. So yeah, it's 2-0 now at this point. They really should have scored that, honestly. Any good play, I probably could have scored that in real life. It was just such a terrible shot there. But anyway, it does end the full time as 2-0, which is a very pleasing result for us, even though, I mean, you are expected to win that game, but nonetheless, I'm still happy enough to get the 3 points. Anyway, our next game is a pretty easy game against Bolton, and their keeper's name is retarded. If you can spell it, or pronounce it, rather, leave a comment and I'll give you a virtual dollar or whatever they do these days. But anyway, I'm just going to mention that this game was pretty average. There wasn't many highlights to show. It was just a pretty average game, to be honest. It was not until the 40th minute where there was actually a highlight, and that's really a pathetic highlight. I mean, Diarra went on a good run there. He was on a really great run. He just tried to kind of cut it across, and it just wasn't really a good finish in the end. And the half does end at a very boring and uneventful 0-0. It's just the most boring. Look, the one highlight that they do show is just that same one that I showed you guys. So it was just a really crap highlight, and I couldn't really show any clips there. But the second half does start much better with Rodwell in the 50th minute straight away getting a really nice little, it was a semi-sweaty goal, I guess you could say. And if you don't know what a sweaty goal is, it's kind of just like a pass across that's kind of like when you need to score. Nonetheless, Newcastle did nearly hit back as soon as I'd scored in the only the 54th minute, only 4 minutes after I'd scored. They could have scored, but instead I take advantage of them missing, and quite a nice little counter-attack leading up to this goal, and that's another great finish for Jelavic, just on top form as usual, and that's a great finish, nice little finesse there, and really my whole attacking team has just been on top of their game, on top of their form really, and Rodwell has been on great form as well recently. So the game does end at 2-0, which is a nice enough result for us. We're still in the 7th spot, but as you can see, there are 3 people in the 24 on 24 points, so it will be pretty easy enough to to try and pull into that 4th position. Aston Villa's on 25 points, only 1 off what we are. Anyway, our next game is a very big quarter-final game against the huge squad of Manchester United. I decided to just praise my team. Hopefully we can get some more confidence going into this game, because I'm pretty sure last time we played them, we beat them 3-1. So hopefully we'll be able to, do something yet again. But anyway, as you can see from the injuries, luckily Vidic is injured, which is a great sign for us. He's a great defender. And instead they're playing this Kabul guy. I don't even know who he is. I decided to play Essien once again, just because, I really need him for this match. They've had a great run of form lately, and as you can see, some pretty average defense let Rooney go really easily by and score it at 1-0. That's a pretty typical finish for Rooney. He's never going to miss that. But we do try and hit back as soon as they score with Essien, and really probably should have done better in the circumstances there. You really are expected to score that kind of it was a bit of a tough angle, I suppose, but Jelavic passing it out to Pina, who probably should have hit the target there. I was a bit disappointed that he didn't at least force a save. But anyway, Diarra gets a bit lucky with defense, and then once again, extreme luck to cause up to this goal. I mean, I can't comprehend what the hell happened there. Just a huge miscommunication. I think it was between Evra and De Gea or De Gea. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but still, we'll take that free goal. Pina does force a little a corner here, and on the edge of halftime to make it 2-1. Extremely, maybe not lucky, not as lucky as the first goal for sure, but luckily we do go up at 2-1. Scholes is injured, and right here, I don't even know what was going on there. It said Pina was injured, even though Jajelka's on the floor. I don't know what was going on, but anyway, geez, I'm talking so fast right now. But anyway, the half does end at 2-1. Pretty nice, lucky end for us. Scoring very late on. I did make 2 subs here just to get some fresh legs going on. Hopefully, I decided to get Drenda off because he's been playing a lot lately, and he really needs the rest. Anyway, as soon as the half started, or maybe the 53rd minute, so not as soon as it started, but Rooney, it wasn't the most convincing shot, and Howard just kind of screws up there. It was a bit unlucky, to be honest, and there's a nice little through ball, and Pina wasn't having the best game, I got to be honest. He really should have finished that. I mean, that's a pretty easy goal. He could have just, slotted in that corner, but unfortunately just misses. It's still 2-2 at this point, and it's, the 65th minute. I'm really pushing on, trying to get this late goal, which would, mean a lot at this point, and I just couldn't finish it. I don't know what it was, and Jelavic is really pissed off. There's a 2-on-1 situation. Essien is injured, and he goes to the shot and misses. It's a huge shame there. We really could have easily won the game there. And then Rooney, in the 84th minute, gets a pretty easy opportunity to seal the game, and luckily he doesn't. It was a pretty crazy game, to be honest, and that does end regulation time. Oh, sorry, we did have another chance here. This goal is just, that shot really didn't do too much to De Gea, but the regulation time does end at 2-2, which means we will be going to another 30 minutes of extra time, and if there's no result after that, there will be a penalty shootout. I got Pina off because he'd had a horrible game, to be honest, and I got Gibson on. Hopefully he could do something crazy. Anyway, unfortunately, this half was pretty, nothing really happened at all in the first half, but the second half did start very well for us, and then that should have been a penalty. I thought I'd just show that because that really probably should have been a penalty, but just De Gea was on top form this game, just saving all my shots. I just really couldn't beat him, and once again here, they really should have scored. I mean, there was so many chances they had to score, but that is full time, so now it's going to be a penalty shootout, and I got to admit, I suck at penalties. So Jelic steps up for his first shot, and honestly, you gotta save that. I'm not sure if it's Lindegaard or De Gea, but you gotta save that. I mean, it was going right at him, and I know Jelic has been in amazing forms, basically scoring every goal he's played in, scored in every match he's played in, but really, we got pretty lucky to score that goal. But anyway, I'll move on. McFadden taking a shot here, and once again, Lindegaard or De Gea, I'm not even sure, I really should just find out, but looking on the bottom there, really should have saved it, but once again, we get pretty lucky. Then Giggs steps up, and really great confident finish, just in the top corner there, and Howard really just had no chance whatsoever, and it is Lindegaard, sorry. Anyway, Baines doesn't miss a goal. I mean, look at that, Lindegaard, for the first time, he's diving the right way, he's just misjudging it completely. And as you can see, Valencia stepping up here to shoot. Howard's a great keeper, so what's going to happen? And he misses. That is a tragic miss for Valencia, trying to be a bit cocky there, and just kind of gets pretty unlucky there, just sways wide. Essien is injured at this point, and just luckily, once again, Lindegaard, diving the right way. He needs to start practicing that. He's being a bit of a monk throughout this little period here. But anyway, 90 steps up. This is going to mean a lot. He's going to be tricky, and he misses. Too bad, mate. You suck. We're going to go through to the semi-finals. A pretty crazy finish. Anyway, guys, that's the end of this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. Great result getting that 3 points out of that last game. If you enjoyed it, I would appreciate a like, and I'll see you guys all later.